My name is Amanda Dickey, and I teach second grade at Haughton Elementary in Haughton, Louisiana. As an educator, I'm most passionate about the social and emotional well-being of children inside and outside the four walls of a school building. I've had the pleasure of teaching children in both 5th and 2nd grade throughout my 12 years in the classroom. I've seen a wide variety of backgrounds, races, ability levels, and cultures represented. I feel that I've always been able to develop a rapport with students and their families fairly easily. However, it wasn't until about 6 years ago when my husband and I became certified foster parents that I truly began to understand the needs of children in my classroom. Although I've always set high expectations, both behavior and academic, they needed so much more than that. They needed an adult to listen to them, to truly hear their frustrations and their joys. They needed an adult to speak confidence, encouragement, and love into their lives. The content being taught in this lesson is a culminating writing task of the second unit, Bugs, from the Art Core reading curriculum. The lesson objectives are to use the notes and prior research from their graphic organizers to begin writing a bug book and drawing illustrations. Prior to this lesson, students had 8 weeks of research-based learning using nonfiction books about a bug of their choice. This lesson connects to the overall goal of students' learning by evaluating the overall understanding of the research that was done. This classroom has students of mixed ability groups. However, the lesson is created for all learners using many different learning styles, including auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. In this lesson, students begin with an afternoon message that is focused on their power goals of each learner. We then collaborate our ideas about why illustrations are important using a Nearpod lesson. During the Nearpod, I'm constantly gauging the students' understanding by viewing their answers and listening to their discussions. I also give a self-assessment during the Nearpod in which I use to pull students for individualized help. We also have a read aloud and discussion about an ant book. From there, we study the rubric so students know exactly what to expect, and I model the layout process. Students then begin working on their layout while I'll pull students with lower ability levels to the back table. This final project will be the formative task I will use for assessment.
Good afternoon. All right, let's start with our afternoon message today. Here.
Good afternoon. Today we will begin working on our bug books. We will
That's a hard word, isn't it? Examine. We'll take a look at that one.
examine the rubric to see what we need to include. What information do you think we should include in our books?
Ooh, did you hear any mistakes in there? Did you see any mistakes? I guess I went too fast today, didn't I? And I made some mistakes when I was writing that. Aiden.
You don't need a question mark after books
Why not, Aiden?
because it's not asking a question.
What is it doing?
It's telling us a sentence.
And I want you and your shoulder partner to discuss what you think is important for us to include in our bug books today. Turn and talk.
So, home, shelter, and home and shelter are the same thing. Water, food,
We're not going to live long?
and air.
So that's something
Air.
Sophie, what do you think needs to be included in our books?
That they should stop poisoning their crops.
Who needs to stop poisoning the crops?
Farmers.
The farmers. We talked about that yesterday, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Farmers are poisoning the crops, and because they're poisoning the crops, what's happening to all of our bugs?
Dying.
They're dying. That's right. So we have lots of different ideas of what we can include in our book. Well, I am going to take a minute and I'm going to show you some things that we will be putting in our book. Okay? So you're going to get a copy of this rubric today. Now, the first thing, we're going to make a cover page. Okay? It's going to have a title of our book. It's going to have the author's name. Who's the author? Yes, you're the author. And it's going to have an illustration. Oh, that's a big word. Illustration. What's an illustration?
It means who makes the pictures.
Well, who's making the pictures for your book?
Us.
You are. So you are the author and the illustrator of your book. Our story today that we're going to read, I read aloud, is on ants. Whose bug is an ant?
Yours.
Mine. My bug is an ant. What are some things in this book that you may want to include in yours? Second. Did you hear anything from this story that was on our rubric? What is something that you heard maybe that you want to include in your book, or you saw?
A tarantula.
What?
But it even includes that
Did you know?
table of contents. I'm going to include that in the book. Your directions are telling you to circle the pictures you might include in a book about bugs. You ready to explain? What? Tell me one picture that you circled. The grassy field. Why'd you circle the grassy field? Bugs could be hiding in the grass. Give me a thumbs up if you also circled the grassy field. Very good. We're talking about illustrations today and why they are important to our books. Why they are important. All right, here's your first question. Why do you think illustrations are important in our writing? Let's go ahead and start talking about why you think illustrations are important. I'm seeing some excellent answers on the board. Okay, with a partner, decide which statement would best fit the picture. You're looking at the little picture at the top. I'm almost at 100% here. Look at that picture. What is he doing? Driving a car. Without a partner yourself. Decide on your own which sentence goes best with the illustration. Take a look at that picture. Looks like most of us chose the answer A. The children are playing on the playground. Take a look at them. On your own, write at least one sentence that would go with this illustration. Audrey, tell me your sentence. Very good. I like that sentence and all the details. Last question. I'm going to mute the screen. This is just between me and you. Just between us. How do you feel about starting your bug book using illustrations? A, I am confused. B, I need more practice. Or C, I'm a pro. Nobody else is going to see your answer. Once you have that blue check mark, you may log out of Nearpod and put your Chromebook inside your desk. On your desk, you have a blank book, some Post-it notes, and a rubric. Let's take a look at these things. You are following along with me. Okay? So the very first thing that I have on my rubric is this cover page, and it's got my title, my author, and my illustration. I want you to take one sticky note off. Just one. on the very front of your book. At the top of my sticky note, I'm going to write cover page. It needs a title. And you may say, well, Miss Dickey, I don't know what the title of my book is going to be. That's okay. You have time to think about that. The author. Who's the author?
Us.
You are. So you can go ahead and write the author's name. I'm the author of my book. Next, open your book. Just one page. One more sticky note. And I want you to put it on the right-hand page. Look at mine up here under the camera. So this side is going to be blank, and then I've got my sticky note on this side. Yes, that is correct. Who thinks they know what's going to go on this sticky note? If you don't know, take a look at your rubric. Annalie, what's going to go there?
Table of contents.
The table of contents. So at the top of this sticky note, I want you to write table of contents. So on this side, I'm going to write at the top, classification. This is where I'm going to put my sentences about my book's classification. This side is where I'm writing my illustration and caption. So these two things are going to match. This side is my information about my classification. This is my illustration and my caption about classification. Good. You're going to keep doing this until you finish the rubric.
Two more.
Now what comes next?
Their illustration.
So we did adaptations. So now I need number 4.
So that's going to be life cycle.
Life cycle. If your shoulder partner needs some help and you are finished, you may help your shoulder partner get their sticky notes in order.
So you got the table of contents.
Why are illustrations important? Think about it. What's something that you learned? Your eyes are on?
Emma.
Thank you. Right. So my illustrations are important because it helps the reader to understand what I'm talking about, and it helps my book to be so much more colorful and pretty, right?
The lesson objective was met. It took some students longer to meet this objective, but they were eventually met. After the teaching segment of this video, students continued to work on their books throughout the following week. They used their rubric to guide themselves through the creation of their book. I continued to coach struggling students at the teacher table. After the books are completed, students will be able to present their creation to their classmates.